This concept is when the alienator, always portraying themselves as the ultimate victim, alienates outsiders from you, their target. Hindsight is always said to be 20/20. Looking back and identifying those acquaintances, neighbors, in-laws, or relatives that have turned cold or appeared chilly from a certain point of time in the past, you need to identify and examine. In one of the author's situations, the narcissist, when waging war with one of her relatives over a small business dispute, citing the husband target erroneously as an agreeing source in her aim for winning. This tactic was executed in the target's presence. In a telephone call, one of many, in a campaign of claiming victimization, the narcissist inferred that her husband agreed. This caused the affected in-laws to levy spite and hatred for the targeted husband. In the course of causing this friction, her own relationship with her family was stressed, resulting in herself, her husband, and her children being shunned and avoided. This eventually caused household hardship when her family was needed in times of medical or rough pregnancy conditions. Without family support, the husband lost business income and clients, having to stay home to care for the narcissist and the household on a daily basis. The situation then multiplied because the in-laws devoted their help and time to the sister's needs and ignored the narcissist. This relationship deteriorated into the in-laws dropping off a bowl of soup in the driveway, knocking on the window, and driving away quickly. Like types of events piled onto this event elevated the narcissist belief that themselves were indeed the ultimate victim. In summary, the narcissist in this common example utilized the husband target to then create the in-laws as additional targets while believing themselves to be the sole victim. As described elsewhere in an earlier edition, this setup continues in a repetitive manner. In another example, the narcissist may solicit a third party by labeling that party as a co-victim. This I term sharing artificial pain, thus I short title being a SAP. Whereas the narcissist has discovered a SAP that will share the pain. This scenario generally develops with close friends or neighbors. To procure a co-victim, they must proclaim that the target has the same dislike for both the narcissist and their co-victim. That dislike ranges from a social status to an issue as simple as a shared personality quirk. As in other examples, these are usually issues that will never be brought up to the target by the co-victim. In one case against this author, a prior lie brought a matter to my attention only when that co-victim trust was eventually breached by the narcissist, thus proving that a good narcissist has a keen sense on who and how far to go with a new flying monkey. One telling hint that another person has been recruited as a co-victim SAP may be the person or persons who would not enter normally your home to relocate your furniture unless they have been convinced of a common reason to do so. Another example may be a neighbor that gifted an item to a child wanting that piece of furniture that the narcissist left behind, believing that somehow you had disallowed its removal when the narcissist moved out of the marital home. This actually happened to the author, and the heaviness of this situation did not come to light until well after that somewhat vocal confrontation. In this case, the co-victim was clearly set up and used against the target. They got their student desk back and I believe eventually became wise to the narcissist's antics. If your circumstances resemble the above, seek professional help and guidance. This narcissistic trait usually exists, but not all that evident until a family unit develops and co-incomes are necessitated. In other words, no one sees a concern when a narcissist mate spends their income mostly on themselves before the family needs an increase of income. However, when the narcissist works full-time and ignores contributing to the household, you have an uncaring or unloving partner. Worse is if the narcissist uses the household credit cards or cash for their work expenses. As experienced, worse than that is when your work time is depleted to enable the narcissist to prosper. Hoarding their money is one thing. It becomes family theft when the main household earner is dispersing the extra car payment, travel expenses, and personal needs pertaining to the employee of the narcissist. In one known case, the family time necessitated effort and costs to tend to the household shopping, home child sitting, and related co-parental needs were left to the supportive spouse while the narcissist was working for their personal reasons. This trait can eventually lead to the built-up of hatred to recruit flying monkeys, create animosity, and to vacate the relationship in any nefarious method possible. Why do I put those words in that manner? Because our lesson regards a narcissist and their grandiose resolve is to portrayed as the ultimate victim. In one of the author's experiences, the household invested into a new business endeavor, financed it. Both marital spouses worked it through development stages only to have the narcissist elicit flying monkeys to justify not having to reciprocate or recontribute those debts back to the family needs. This is usually due to the narcissist's preemptive plan to eventually abandon the relationship. If your circumstances resemble the above, seek professional help and guidance. This brings us to the subject of appreciation. From the very moment that the target is designated by the narcissist, that's the exact moment that symptoms of appreciation ceases. This point in time is also when the symptoms of alienation begin if children are involved. The children will subtly observe the lack of appreciation of the target and eventually adopt these traits as being of normal behavior. The non-appreciated treatment usually commences with the target's birthdays, holidays, and disposition of a general distaste for the target's contributions to the family unit or, for that matter, the world. However, the narcissist will be flamboyant with gift-giving to those they need to or desire to impress, including co-workers, close friends, flying monkeys, co-victims, and especially their children. The children are often embellished with towers of gifts. An average Christmas can easily entail 30, 40, 50 separate gifts for each child. These subliminal messaging to the children introduces them to be non-appreciative and leads to alienation of the targeted parent. In most cases, appreciation for the alienated parent is reduced to not being worthy to receive a birthday card, a holiday card, a visit, or any type of family support that are the custom. I know you supported them, coached their teams, attended all of the concerts, paid your support, car payments, insurances, etc., etc., etc. You've heard all the I'm sorries for the lies that they got caught in, the chores you were equally entitled to be done ignored, and so on. My ex even chastised me by telephone because I didn't show an interest in subjects that I had no prior knowledge of because my kids ceased sharing with me happenings in their lives. I joke that I must have misplaced my crystal ball. Perhaps your experiences differ, truth be told, and why I wholly recommend mailing those cards, regularly sending those texts, and emailing them. Your children are just additional flying monkeys just like all the others set against you. Your children are victims. If your circumstances resemble the above, seek professional help and guidance. Sadly, experts that I researched most widely agree that victims of narcissism from childhood into adulthood may tend to repeat the symptoms onto others later in life, commonly using narcissistic tactics involving their own children. This is one of my motivations for writing these episodes, probably number one. It has been described as more of a learned hereditary than one of genetic hereditary. Most targets of a narcissist I've come across hope and pray that he or she is the ending victim of such psychological carnage. If your circumstances resemble the above, seek professional help and guidance.